Hello, and welcome again to my series of political heroes. I'm Paul Bergin. I moderate the Mars Hill blog, which you can find at www.paulbergin, that's paulbergin.blogspot.co.uk. Today I'm going to talk about John Adams, the second US president. Now on Mount Rushmore, you can see four of the great US presidents: Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. Now, they're not the only great US presidents, but it's always interesting. They always skip that the president between Washington and Jefferson isn't perhaps so, not necessarily so well known, but so revered, John Adams, and he was a one-term president. Adams had some faults. He could be tempestuous. He could run with something without due thought. He could run away with his own ideas sometimes. But he could be measured. He was passionate. He cared about the Republic. After initially being very pro and very defensive of Britain, and by degrees that changed, and then he became an ardent pro-independence person in the US. He showed great magnanimity towards those whom he defeated, or defeated him, albeit with a certain degree of anger, resentment and occasional vindictiveness. He could show that ability to be gracious. When he became the first US diplomatic representative in the UK, he met King George III. His language towards the king, and this is the only person who signed the Declaration of Independence who met the king, was one that he of great, describing this as great honour, great love of Great Britain, great desire to represent the US in a diplomatic capacity. Like some in India and some in Ireland to an extent, what he wanted was independence. That did not, whilst he was aware, and like those cases, whilst aware of the UK's faults, he also saw the virtues of Britain and was happy to work with them and delighted to work with them so long as they were equals and not a lesser partner. He was also very aware of Hamilton's potential, the horrific mistakes Hamilton could make in his pursuit of helping to formulate what the US was. This isn't about Hamilton, but this is about John Adams, clearly. But Hamilton had a good idea with the idea of the federal bank. Hamilton had good ideas about the importance of central government, albeit in a federalistic capacity. But the way Hamilton was towards foreign relations, in terms of conduct in military affairs, Adams could see the dangers Hamilton would have, that he would end up creating the very situations they were struggling to avoid. He also put country before party, in this case the Federalist Party, which no longer exists. And he also was not afraid to oppose and argue against, publicly as well as privately, Thomas Jefferson, who was once a great friend. Their fallout between them was so immense that when Jefferson was inaugurated president, Adams refused to be present. But eventually they did make up. They did resolve their differences and write letters to each other. Until, I believe, both of them died, which was on exactly the same day, 50 years to the day after the Declaration of Independence. He was recently remembered well in an HBO miniseries with Paul Gambiati as John Adams. And what he did for the US helped partly make what it is as a great country, his ability to constantly think through everything, even if he let his temperament run away with him sometimes, and sometimes his imagination, but his ability to think things through and his enthusiasm, coupled with pragmatism, stood America in good stead. Thank you.